Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about socialism versus capitalism. It is an issue that I think a lot of people just really do not understand. I did some research and I looked up, used Webster's, I used the internet, I searched and searched for things that would help people to understand. I think a lot of people are out here following crowds and they really do not understand what they're following them for. I think they want to follow a certain crowd because of the name or their behavior, and I think they're just not realizing what they really are um, standing for, and that's the sad part about it. We have to know what we're doing. We need to know exactly why we're doing it, why we're standing up for something. Be sure and steadfast on everything you do. So today we're going to be going over socialism and capitalism in a very short form. I'm 70 years old. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a great-grandmother. My days are limited, literally, as is with anybody else. We don't know what day we're going to die. We don't know what day God calls us home, but as you get older, you know your days are pretty limited. I feel like I have to share this with people, and so that is what I'm doing today. Socialism versus capitalism. And please excuse me if I make mistakes because I have an eyesight problem that goes along with the age too. I'm real excited about this, and I hope this does help you understand better. No one's trying to tell you how to vote. No one's trying to tell you religious beliefs. That is something I do not do. You have a free will choice to do what you want to do, but you need to know why you are doing it. You need to understand why, and a lot of people just really do not understand. Nobody looks it up. Nobody researches. A lot of people just go with it. Don't let the media persuade you. Do not let a party persuade you. Do not let a group, just because they have a special name, persuade you. You're smart enough, you're intelligent enough to look it up yourself. Google it, look it up, read your Bible. You can do it. Just keep it going in your own mind. Be strong about it. Don't be a follower, be a leader in your own self. So today, what's up in November? What's happening in November? Well, it could be the turning point of our nation, for one thing. We are a capitalism nation. We're capitalist. We believe in free market in our country, but socialism does not. So what is socialism? It is a social system or theory in which the producers passes political power and the means of producing and distributing goods. What is capitalism? It is an economic system characterized by open competition in a form market and by private or corporate ownership in the means of production and distribution. Now we're going to hear some different things, and I'm trying to get my eyes set so I can see it. Socialism is any of various social systems based or shared or governmental ownership, get that? Governmental ownership and administrations of means of production and distribution of goods. Capitalism is an economic system in which resources and means of production are privately owned and prices, productions, and distributions of goods are determined mainly by competition in a free market. So, socialism is government owned. Capitalism is a free market. You think about that now. I'll let you decide. I'm not trying to sway you. I'm trying to help you understand it. So when you make a vote, when you cast your vote, you're doing it with knowledge. Socialism as a noun is a political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of the production, distribution, and exchange should be owned and regulated by the community as a whole. In other words, you lose personal control over things. Capitalism is an economic system in which resources and means of production are privately owned, and prices, productions, and distribution of goods are determined mainly by competition in a free market. That's what we live today. A free market. Capitalism is a free market. Socialism is a political, social, and economic philosophy by encompassing a range of economic and social systems characterized by social ownership of the means of production and workers' self-management of enterprise. What does leftism mean? We hear a lot about the leftists. Do we really know what that means? Leftist or syndicalism? Syndicalism? What is leftism? What is syndicalism? It is a policy or practice based on the political and economic theory of socialism. Now listen to this. Based on the theory of socialism, the Marxist theory. And no one's calling anybody a Marxist, but listen to what the Marxist theory is as opposed to leftism and syndicalism. Syndicalism and leftism, again, is a policy or practice based on the political and economic theory of socialism. What is the Marxist theory? A transitional social state between the overthrow of capitalism and the realization of communism. What is the Marxist theory? Communism? A transitional social state between the overthrow of capitalism, is which what we are today, a free market, capitalism, and the realization, Marxist theory, of communism. Think about that. I want you to understand it. Overthrow of capitalism, realization of communism. Now, we hear about liberal. We hear about radical all the time. What is a liberal? What is a liberal? What does that mean about a person? A liberal, it means they're not bound by any traditional form or beliefs. They're not conservative. They're not bound by any traditional forms or beliefs. They make it up as they go a lot of times. And a lot of times these groups that are out on the streets with these masks and doing all this stuff and rioting and killing and turning over police cars and hurting policemen, destroying properties, destroying businesses, they're not traditional. They have no traditional forms or any kind of beliefs. They're not conservative at all. Just say what they want to say, do what they want to do, with no repercussions whatsoever. What does the word syndicalism? Syndicalism is a policy or practice based on the political and economic theory of socialism, which turns into communism. Now, what is a radical? You hear that word all the time. They're radical. Those radical people. Radical in politics is departing sharply from the usual or ordinary. Oh my goodness. What are we seeing today? People departing from the usual and the ordinary. People that have no traditional forms or beliefs. Is that the crowd you want to follow? Is that why you walk the streets with them? Is that why you stand up with them? Is that what you want to vote for? Because if you vote for certain things, you're voting for socialism, which is what they're trying to get into our country. Now, let me remind you of some socialist countries. The former Soviet Union, communist. Nazi Germany, communist. Contemporary examples of Cuba, communist. Venezuela, communist. China, communist. Read about them. Read about them. Study them. Read about their problems and read about their troubles and in their countries, and read about the government control. They'll promise you the moon and the stars, how good it's going to be, how good the economy's going to be, how good you're going to have all these jobs. And you'll find out more about that in a minute. How good the school systems will be. Be careful what you vote for. Be careful how you vote. In socialism, their greatest goal is common wealth. Everybody's going to be the same except the rich. In socialism, the government controls almost all of society functions so it can make better use of resources, labor, and lands. Control of your labors, control of your lands. I personally prefer to keep my own name on my house. I personally prefer to keep driving the kind of car I want to drive. I personally prefer to keep my own type of job without being told what I can and can't do. Socialism reduces disparity in wealth, also in social ranks and classes. You might be up here today. Let that socialism come in and blop, down you go. Now, what are some of the negatives in socialism? Okay, now you listen to this. Some of the negativisms in socialism is, without a doubt, slow economic growth. But they promised us a good economic system. You go ahead and vote for them and find out. Slow economic growth. Are you willing to take that chance? Loss of entrepreneurial opportunity. If you want to open up your own business, you won't be able to do that. You'll lose that entrepreneurial opportunity. Lack of competition. Well, see, we live in a competitive world today. Free market. I can open up a grocery store and you can open up one two blocks down the street if you want to. We have churches on every corner. That'll be the thing of the past. One of the other negativisms of socialism is lack of motivation by individuals due to lesser rewards. Remember, socialism rewards mediocrity. Socialism is a sovereign state. What's the word sovereign mean? Listen to this. Sovereign, as we know it from the Bible, means power. God is sovereign. God is the only one that's supposed to be sovereign. None of us rank that high, but socialism thinks they do. And sovereign state means supreme in power or authority. Supreme in power or authority is sovereign when it comes to socialism. A monarch exercising supreme authority in a state. They'll take over. I'm telling you, they will take over. Is that what you want? Is that what you're voting for? Because if you vote for socialism, that's what you're voting for. We are a capitalist nation. So why is capitalism different? Capitalism is based on individual initiative, and it favors market mechanisms over government intervention. Socialism is based on government planning and limitations on private control of resources. So capitalism is free market. Socialism is government control. Is that what you want? What is a democratic socialism? What does that mean, democratic socialism? It's having a socialist economy in which the means of production are socially and collectively owned are controlled alongside a democratic political system of government. So, capitalism is a free market, right? Capitalism is production is privately owned, and wages, prices, and amounts and kinds of goods and services produced are determined by individual choices. I can sell my corn for however much I want to sell my corn for. You can sell your corn for however much you want to sell your corn for. That's capitalism. If it's socialism, we'll sell our corn whatever the government tells us to sell our corn for. And then they'll get a big portion of that. Socialism is when production is owned and controlled by the state. Wages and prices in production and distribution of goods and services in some degree are subject to state regulation and planning. You want to lose control of that? Is that what you want? I just don't get it. I just don't get it why people aren't listening to this. Now, what does God say about socialism? Did you know God has something to say about it? If you will help read with me, I ask you to. This is actually coming from Matthew. Some of you out there are already saying Matthew 25. Matthew 25. That's exactly right. Matthew 25:31 through 46. And I know when you were a little child in Sunday school, you always heard that all the red writing was Jesus' words. That's what we're going to read today. From 31 to 46 is red writing. Jesus said, "When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from his goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and you visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, or did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but righteous into life eternal. Jesus meant for individuals to take care of the poor. It is an admonition placed on individuals. It is not a plea for government officials to take over people's money to help the poor. The Bible appears to be anti-socialist. The Bible appears to be anti-socialist. Who introduced capitalism? In 1776, Adam Smith introduced it through The Wealth of Nations. Socialism and communism are umbrella terms referring to two left-wing schools of economic thoughts, both opposing capitalism. Capitalism rewards merit. Socialism rewards mediocrity. Now, we need to really pray about the vote. Your vote. You need to pray about it. I need to pray about it. Think. Are we ready for such a drastic transformation from capitalism into socialism? I think not. I think we're not ready for that. I don't think we'll ever be ready for that in the United States of America. Do you really want the government to be in control of everything? Do you really want the government to change from capitalism to socialism? Are you really thinking about what that really means? Capitalism is a free market. Much more for our nation will be accomplished through capitalism. You need to really think it out. There's two candidates that's running. One stands for, one stands against. You might not like the people, the person, what they stand for, how they treat people. I mean, I don't either. I don't like everything that's happening today from personal people and how they talk to other people. I don't like making fun of women. I don't like that. I don't like making fun of anybody. I've been there. I know what that feels like. I don't like it. I think people that's done that have changed somewhat. I think we need to pray for our leaders. I think the power of prayer is what's going to help change a lot of them without them even knowing they're making the change. That's what we have to do, is just fill them, just overflow them with prayer. But I'm telling you that we really need to be careful who we vote for. I'm afraid if we get another person into office that people are wanting so badly, he's being puppeted by a group of people that are full-blown 100% socialist. And I don't think once he's into office he's going to have any control whatsoever. He doesn't have that strength. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have that exterior that he needs to have. There's a certain person that has to stand up strong. He doesn't have that. I think he's probably a good person. He's been through a lot of tragedy. There should be some empathy for him. He's come through a lot of horrible things in his life. And I think he's got a sweet spirit about him in many ways. I'm not going to knock any individual, but I do believe he cannot run that office. I don't believe he will be running that office. I believe he is being used, and that shortly after he's in that office, if he's elected, he will be put down, and we'll have the most liberal person in Congress who is a socialist running this country. And then next in line to that one is even worse, who runs Congress, Speaker of the House. Be careful. You do not want those things to happen to our nation. You may not like who we have in there now, but you need to really think about this. If you put your approval on somebody just because you think they're going to be good in the school system, you're voting for everything that party believes in. Abortion. Abortion. And I'm going to emphasize that because I think that's just horrible. And there's many other things. The economy will not be better. Jobs will not be better. It's going to get worse. Once that socialism takes hold, we're going to be another Venezuela. We'll be moving from this country by the groves. Bunches and bunches of people. There's an old saying that says, if your left hand doesn't know what your right hand is doing, you should consider running a job in Washington, D.C. You better know what's happening. You better know what's happening in this world. You better know how you're going to vote. You better be sure about that. Need to be sure come election day. Think about it. Think about it. You do not want socialism in the United States of America. But he's a moderate. No, he's not. He was a moderate. At one time, maybe. A little. But not now. Too much leftism. Just went over that. What is leftism? Not conservative. So I pray today that something I've said has helped you. We need to pray about this election. We need to speak up about this election. We need to share with people the difference of socialism and capitalism. We need to share that if you go to that ballot poll and you check off somebody because you like something they're doing, you're voting for everything in that party. Everything in that party. Think about it. Pray about it. Think. Pray. God bless you. God bless your family. Please take all this into consideration. Thank you so much. God bless you.